So I'll talk about the 3D cursor in this video. The 3D cursor is actually a very useful tool in terms of getting a really precise location for the creation of objects. For example, every time I add an object, it will get added to the location of the 3D cursor, which is at the world origin. So the 3D cursor is this little crosshair icon with a circle in it. You can access the 3D cursor from this key here, so you can move it around to different points. And say, for example, I move it to this point and I want to create a cube or a sphere at that particular point. I would hit Shift A and then I would go to Mesh and I would create this UV sphere. So the UV sphere has been created exactly at the point of where the 3D cursor is located. The 3D cursor also, I'll delete that. So to reset the 3D cursor, you hit Shift and S and you go cursor to world origin, so that restores it. So another use of the 3D cursor is to change the pivot. So if you change the pivot in Maya, you would hit the insert key and then probably snap to a vertex, and that would change the pivot point. So if I wanted to change the pivot point of this cube from the center to this corner here, I'd go to the 3D cursor and I would move it to that point, and then I would say object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Now if I grab this object and I hit R, so I set the origin to the 3D cursor. So I say object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. So if I grab this and I hit the R key, now this object rotates from the location of the 3D cursor. This is useful when you create things like doors that need to rotate around an axis or other things. So that's a really useful function. So if I hit Shift S, say cursor to world origin, but as you can see in Blender, the origin is denoted by this little circle.